Well, I finally did it. I crashed the drone. What's going on, guys? I'm LaFave, and today we are back at my shop for another photography know-how and tutorial video. So, if you guys do know who I am really, I do develop my own color film. I normally develop with the Tetenal C-41 process, but I recently decided to switch back to Tetenal C-41. So I have never shot or developed with Tetenal. I started doing my own stuff this year alone. So I really wanted an easy process that I knew that would be relatively easy to learn how to use C-41, which was the Tetenal kit. It was super cheap. It was like $24 online. So I decided to go with that. And I recently ran out of developer and everything, so I decided to go for the Tetenal. Everything I've read online, every video I've watched said this is an amazing developer for color film, especially at home. You get somewhere around 30 developments with one box for $50-some. The Tetenal kit, you only got 8 developments. 8 developments of 120 and 11 developments of 35. So that's kind of, you know, you get better bang for your buck, believe it or not, with Tetenal. I do know, I've read online that Tetenal is a little bit harder to use though. So that's why I decided I've developed roughly 10 rolls of 120 and about 6 rolls of 35. So I thought I maybe have enough color developing under my belt to learn how to do it professionally with an actual well-known grade developer. So we're gonna do that and we're gonna shoot it. So what I've used in the past to store my chemicals are these glass bottles. I recommend not going with glass mason jars. Last week when I was doing it, I was coming over to do the last development on my C-41 with the Tetenal kit, and I couldn't get the lid off. The chemicals I got on the threads, and it made it extremely hard to pull off. So me being me, I put it in the vise grip of my shop, and I got an oil filter wrench to kind of break it loose. And as soon as I put the slightest bit of pressure on, the entire bottle shattered, and I got developer everywhere, all over the workbench, all over the floor, all over my clothes. Not to mention I cut my hand pretty well with a shard of glass from when it blew up, essentially. I recommend not using glass bottles anymore. So what I'm gonna start using are these. These are 2-gallon jugs for like black and white chemicals. That's what I've used them for in the past. I'm gonna start using these with my color chemicals because I'm making such a big amount. I'm making 2.5 liters, which is around, I don't know, about a gallon, about half a gallon worth of stuff. So it's gonna be a pretty decent amount of chemical. I'm gonna use these. I'm gonna pick up another set for my black and white. And what I'm gonna use the glass bottles for is I'm going to use those to heat the chemicals up and measure them out. Okay, so I have all the chemicals made. They're right over there on the bench. I got my developer, Blix, and stabilizer. So I'll show you guys my setup real quick on how I get my temperatures, my chemicals up to temp. So with color film, it is extremely important that you cannot vary in almost any degree at all. You have 0.3 Celsius, which is roughly half a degree Fahrenheit for everybody in America like myself. So all your chemicals have to be at a constant 102 degrees while you're developing. The good part about color film and the developing is the developing time is only 3 minutes and 15 seconds for the entire array of things. So which means you don't have to keep it in a constant bath that's heated at 102. You can put in the 102 degree temperature chemical straight into the tank, and by the time you're done with that, it'll still be about 102 degrees. So what I do is I put all my chemicals in the water, heat it up to 102 degrees, and I'll pull them out and directly put them into the tank for developing. So I'm using the big jugs for the storing the chemicals, and what I'm going to use for these mason jars is I'm going to keep the stabilizer, the Blix, and then the developer in them to keep them up to temp. All I do is use a measuring cup and get out approximately 20 ounces of water of each chemical, which is 550 milliliters. And what we're developing, the reason that it's so big is because we're developing 2 rolls of film that are 120. So I got a Portra 160 and Portra 400 here. We're gonna develop them both. And I did look in the booklet, and I guess you can get 40 developments per box of chemicals, which I said was 36 earlier. It's actually 40, which is amazing. And it doesn't vary between 120 and 35. My old box was like 1235, 8 120 because of the film size. It exhausts the chemicals better, but I guess with this Tetenal kit, it's the same, it's pretty uniform. So I'm gonna go in the dark room, I'm gonna close all the garage doors, I'm gonna go in the bathroom where it's completely dark out, dark in I guess, and load the film, and by then the chemicals should be at 102 degrees. Okay, got the film in there, got the Portra I think 400. And I got our chemicals over there, and they are about done. So they are about at 108 degrees. So I'm gonna pull them out, cool them down. The one I'm biggest worried about is the developer. The Blix, if it's a little cold, a little hot, you can just add it. The developer is the one that makes a big difference. So the developer is the one that really has to be at 102 degrees. If you over or under develop at all, you're gonna mix up your colors, whatnot, but the Blix can be a couple degrees over, a couple degrees above. It's like black and white. You can't really overfix. You can overfix for up to like half an hour of black and white before it does anything. And Blix, they say if you Blix for an extra minute or two, what's recommended on there, you might get better colors. You're gonna get rid of that orange cast that's on color film that gives it a blue hue normally. So I'm gonna let it be a little colder because I'm not gonna keep it as high up in temp. So we maybe get rid of the blue cast because I personally get a lot of blue in my color developings. So I always have to color correct in post after I scan them. So we're gonna start doing that, and I'll show you guys the end results. I hope they turn out really well. It's my first time using Tetenal. Okay, so they are developed. The one on the left is the 160, one on the fourth is the 400. So I am currently picking up whatnot, cleaning my development up, tank, chemicals, mason jars, getting that all put away. And while those are drying, I think I'm gonna go get some B-roll with my drone. I did bring the drone, so I wanna get some driving shots of my truck, whatnot. So I'm gonna go get those, hope you like it. As soon as they're dry, I'm gonna go home and I will scan the film, edit them a little bit, fix some mini color corrections, and happy to show you guys. Well, I finally did it. I crashed the drone. I was getting some cool cinematic shots of my truck, whatnot. I was gonna do this one where the drone is gonna be in front while I was moving and come out and go up. And I hit the front of my truck, scratched the paint real bad, chipped the paint off completely. And I was like, oh no. So it hit the hood, shot up, kicked it sideways right into the window. I guess I'm lucky I didn't break my window, but my windshield. And then I was like, oh no. So I got out of the truck, grabbed it, was freaking out. So I, landed it whatnot on the controller while holding it, and it turned off. And I tried to fly again, and it wouldn't go up in the air to hover. So I was like, oh no. So I put it up, stayed there for about 5 seconds, and shot back down and smacked on the ground real hard. And if I kept up on the controller, it would continue to stay up in the air, but it would freak out and drop randomly, and it wouldn't hover. So I don't know, maybe I messed up the calibration. I don't got time to fix it, and first time I've done that. I've never wrecked the drone until now, and I think I might have broke it. So, oh well.